We've fielded a lot of questions over the years here at Calvary. While these may not always be the only answers, they're our answers, and we hope they help you as you continue to grow in your faith.
In 1 Corinthians 11, Paul says that women need to wear head coverings in church. What is our reasoning for not observing this? Bear in mind that the Apostle Paul had just established an important principle at the end of chapter 10. I'll read it to you. It's 1 Corinthians 10, 32 and 33. He says, "Give no offense either to the Jews or to the Greeks, the Gentiles, or to the church of God, just as I also please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved." In chapter 11, Paul does take up the subject of how to conduct yourself in the public worship of the church, and he says it's governed by this principle of not giving offense in order that you might benefit and build up others. And since ministering the gospel to others is your goal, you're ready to adopt certain cultural traditions if necessary so as to not offend others and cause contention. And so this wearing of head covering was an extremely important cultural custom in Corinth. Now, obviously, we have to be careful. We can't just look at the Bible and say, well, that was the culture. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But Paul prefaces for, chapter 11 by talking about becoming all things to all men. I know that those of you, maybe if you've traveled and done any missionary work, not necessarily just for missions, but especially for missions, there's places in the world where men will not be received if they have beards and long hair. And if you're going to share the gospel or teach the Word of God, you can be obstinate and say that you're not under the law, but under grace, and so you can have as long a hair and beard as you want, but you're not going to minister to anybody. I know when we went to Japan in the 80s, they required us to wear coats and ties, which you would think people were asking us to renounce our citizenship, the way that the Calvary pastors approached that, but it was very important to the Japanese culture of respect. So this is a cultural thing in Corinth, and so it's not so much the head covering as it is the principle, be all things to all men. And certainly we have our own cultural things that we go through from time to time in our own nation. So that's my take on that.
Do you have a question about the Bible, theology, or church life? If so, we would love to hear it, think about it, and give our perspective on it. You can email us anytime at questions@calvaryhanford.com, and we will get it on the list for the podcast. And if you'd like to check out years worth of all sorts of topics like the ones we cover, visit calvaryhanford.com/questions. Thanks for listening.